Hello and welcome to listen Gong Narcissism on Steroids podcast. So in this episode I will be talking about the name of the podcast, why I chose this name. So those who are listening are probably more or less linked to Daoism, or at least have some understanding what a Daoist school is all about the key principles and stuff. And then the Gong process, that might be a little bit less understood, although there have been a lot information flooded in last years. But Gong really is a process where you are working with the substance called Qi, and this Qi is not the substance inside your body. I mean, that would be the Qigong path, mastering your own Qi. But the Gong path, at least the school where I come from, the Qi is actually received from the transmission that your teacher does from his body. At least that's what they say, and that is the substance that you are working inside your body. So really we are talking about internal process, the Qigong process, where you are working that who you are and all the aspects that create you. And then the Gong, which is this alien type of substance from your teacher, which you are cultivating, building, filling your body and growing inside you, depending on are you Tai Chi practitioner or Gong practitioner. It kind of has a little bit different areas to work on. But the aim with this Qi is to build it as much as possible. So if you're more focused on martial arts, you can get the martial skills and strength through that. Like in Tai Chi, the internal force. And then if you are Gong practitioner, then the skills that are arisen when you are specifically building Qi, which is part of the Qi that the teacher transmits, this so-called turbid Qi from teacher. But the Gong aspect also works with the yin and yang Qi, the electromagnetic qualities when you put them together. So really there is three different aspects of the Qi, like this is the foundation in the system. And it is widely known that the more you build Qi, it kind of enhances that what you are. And if you don't manage to sort your flaws within your nature, within your emotions and stuff, it really can make you just more enhanced versions of your flaws. And narcissism is known that they are very, very rigid personality style. They do not change easily. And usually if the growth of the narcissist are not if something doesn't get involved with their with their ever expanding, personality style to all directions, they do actually seem to be growing like just worse and worse directions the further they live. Unless they actually get some real shaking up, which they are, had enough who they are and want to change. But even then, if they would be extremely motivated, it doesn't look good what the professional says, like they really are incapable of changing the actual personality, narcissism, which is the huge problem. So this part is the narcissism on steroids, the strong Qi building practices enhancing the narcissistic personality traits. And of course, when you add the siddhis and skills on top of this, then all the manipulation, domination, coercion, like everything becomes completely different ball game. What you don't have in narcissism in normal world. So we will be diving to the skills that these Neigong so-called masters are said to have, and cities that can arise from the process. So you can really start to understand that they are completely different creatures. I mean, when they are talking about Tai Chi, they say, Tai Chi creature, it's completely different creature. But within narcissism, it is completely different creature than your normal narcissist, without enhancement of the building of the chi and collecting all sort of skills and siddhis. So this is one aspect. I would assume you have some understanding of the narcissism if you are listening this podcast or you are interested in. I will not go in this episode in deeper what narcissism is all about. But as the podcast is circling on these fields, it is of course good to mention that in name. And then we have the steroids, and probably all people know what steroids do to the body. If bodybuilders are using them, they are enhancing them basically into the superhuman level, what they normally are not. So we do have the key ingredients for the name, and especially if you add the Daoist virtues, the two most famous, the key virtues in Daoism, humor and humility. At least the humor part is in this name. At least if you come from school where some processes or stronger practices were referred as a school's name, and on steroids when you would get those practices, or when there was probably all sort of other stuff happening also, but it was joked quite widely, at least the teacher was. So there are multiple aspects for the humorous aspect, and it really encapsulates what this podcast is all about, and also what the Neigong process does to the narcissism. It is like taking steroids. The effect for the narcissistic personality style is same. It flares up. So I just couldn't get any better name which would be more detailed and which would give enough information. But I have a feeling that for some people this might be offensive or insulting or not funny. So my humble apologies, but if you go back to the Daoist teachings and virtues, and especially look like the humor in Daoist school and stuff, I hope you can find at least little appreciation for the name. If not, my humble apologies. It really encapsulates also everything in perfectly what I am talking about. It's serious, but I also wanted to put the humor lens on top. So when we are talking about virtue of the humor, I think it is actually often misunderstood, perhaps at least in the school where I come from. There are several different types of humor. I mean, not all of them at all are virtuous. Some of them are, in that normal spectrum. Some of them are really opposite to the virtue. I mean, when we go to dark and dirty humor and inappropriate humor to the situation, and really all sort of pervertness and stuff like this is the opposition of the virtue. There is nothing funny in those. Some people are laughing to everything, and it's not really virtuous either. It has zero virtue when you're laughing to everything. But this is kind of a model where I kind of come from, and I do tend to have some of those traits within me, so I'm sometimes laughing to the situations which are not really funny, so it's not virtuous, but it is something that is kind of grained it within me. And it's also quite normal in other social groups, that people are kind of laughing in situations where it really is not funny. It is just a learned habit more than anything else. But I have noticed that the humor has definitely changed, and especially that what truly comes from heart, it definitely starts to align more with the practice, more with the path, more with the beautiful aspect. I mean, the pure joy and love and laughter and humor starts to come from a better place. And of course, the masters would have like full expression of their spiritual and or religious cultivation, like the way the humor comes out, like it would be the fruit of their cultivation, really. The humor that is beautiful and perfectly in line with the path they are walking and teaching. Very, very beautiful. And many masters have said to have this in great masters, Not normal humans really tend to get that far, like to absolute virtues within their humor. So the humor is not, the virtue of the humor is not as widely spread as people think it is. At least, the circles where I come from. And of course, the humor tells about a lot, person's psychology, behavior models, where their mind is really kind of tuned into, and really their personality. So the narcissistic are quite famous of their own humor. It can be quite dark sometimes. They quite often laugh to other people or people suffering. And of course this is, to me, especially when it moves to that direction, that they are laughing other people suffering, this is the first early signs that there are some level of sadism possibly behind there. And of course, if you put extremely strong energetic practices on top, these type of imbalances may flare up, and it might be even quite strong depending on various other components within the person, within surroundings, and what life kind of brings, and really also the personality of the teacher, where the transmissions are coming from. This will make sense more in short while if you're not fully aware of what type of aspects, what type of information the transmission really carries from your teacher. So the Daoist Neigong, the process of the internal change. So there is these two categories, Qigong and Neigong. So Qigong really is mastering your own Qi. And if you really look what Neigong is, it really is actually mastering or trying to master the Qi that has been transmitted into you by your teacher. So it is not actually, to me, really even internal process, as the substance of Qi comes from the external source, from your teacher. So the pure internal path is working within you, who you are, what God gave you. My humble apologies that I use the word God. It's kind of where I have shifted. This is the work that needs to be done, So, but you kind of get where I'm coming from, I hope. So Qigong really is that what you had inherently, everything that was gifted to you. And Neigong is that added Qi, transmitted Qi from outside into your body. To keep it in short. So mastering your mind, mastering your own chi is basically everything within you, mastering your mind, thought, speech, mastering your actions. And of course, huge model is the emotional model. But chi really is like all the processes, and many Hindu teachings have taken kind of these theories very, very far, like where they actually go to the chemistry levels and so forth. But this is also said to be part of the Neigong process, which we could kind of actually count that perhaps mastering your own chi, and the substance that is transmitted from outside is mastering the Neigong, mastering the process of the chi transmitted into you. And that is basically what you are cultivating within you. So you are doing inside your body the work, but with the external substance. The Neigong process was actually marketed to me anyway, like the process of the internal change, and this is the true and the deepest aspect of the Taoist, and this is the good stuff and so forth, like true internal work. But actually, when you look, this is not quite correct in my understanding. So the chi from your teacher, from the transmission, what it does. I have put here like 3 main functions. So at early days, it was really to set up, to activate the Gong process. And if you're not familiar, it is like the English word for this Gong process is spontaneous movements. So this substance that is transmitted by your teacher into you were at early days transmitted into your back, basically the Mingmen area. And that kind of gave you spontaneous movement, uncontrolled movements, speech, and like all sort of messy behavior, which was kind of warned that do not show these practices, like this part of the process, to any people outside from the school, as they might think you are possessed. So the second function for this chi that is transmitted from your teacher into you, like on later days, as the school got another layer on top, so it's basically at least 2 different systems on top of each other. So at this stage, it is said that you need this turbid chi from your teacher to build up the outer shell, the outer layer of your dantian, which you would then fill with the pure yang chi, like the magnetic quality. But I don't think it goes quite like that. But I will talk about the process, how my understanding goes with those 2 substances at different time. And the third component would be in related to the Tai Chi, like you're actually filling your body fully with this substance. I mean, the soft tissues. So you would get the full body pang, where you get the Tai Chi force, the internal force. But once again, it comes from outside. So it's not really internal force. It is external force which you cultivate inside your body. So it's not quite correct, but it's kind of partly true, because you are doing the process inside your body, but it did not originate it there. So to me, it is not internal, not purely, not at all. So this chi, what your teacher transmits into you, carries various aspects, including his personality and of course his teacher's personality and all the way up, whatever was the first source within that tradition. So it is the teachers, it carries the psychological model of the teacher, the emotional model, really like even like likes and dislikes, even like the preferences within the food and stuff like it really carries enormous amount of information from your teacher. And those who have watched like the energetic core or some other energetic models from narcissism can probably already start to understand, like, I mean, that's extremely chaotic and messy energetic model, emotional model, psychological model. I mean, the nature is quite nasty and can really become extremely like ugly and yeah, like, would I want to have transmission from the person who is narcissistic with all the knowledge I have? No, not at all. Like, zero chance. Am I truly grateful that I studied with my teacher because of the processes that unfolded because of his help? Yes, I am truly grateful for that. So yeah, but I wouldn't choose the same road, not at all. But on the other hand, then there wouldn't be this work to be done. So the work is not actually for me, like some people think that I am getting something from this. I am not getting money, nor am I asking money. Like, really, this is quite hardcore stuff if you would know, like everything involved, like nobody would choose this. But I have enough understanding and knowledge and about the dangers and how serious this is. So I have no choice, you could say. Like, somebody has to do it. It is important area, and I do bring and I do hope it will bring so much good for the other people, like much easier path to within their spiritual cultivation. So yes, the qualities of different type of chi. There is that turbid chi from your teacher. The turbid chi was kind of used. It's not the, I don't know, did he use it in his books? Not sure. Possibly, but it was kind of used a little bit here and there, at least in more smaller groups, when he started to teach more work with the yang chi, which is kind of said to be more pure, like electrical quality, and yin chi, which is also more pure form of yin chi, like magnetical quality. So the quality of the turbid chi within Neigong and in Tai Chi, as it is the same substance in that school, just where it is cultivated kind of differs. So the turbid chi in Neigong process, it is the outer cell of the dantian, and in Tai Chi you basically want to fill your whole body with this sticky, thick, snotty, heavy down-bearing substance called chi, which has kind of the full potential for the sung quality. So it is true, all of those what teachers are saying about these substances, but there is also something what they are not either aware of or are not talking about it, or because I am school, I have not, because I am away from that school, so I have not perhaps just heard. So, but it really is insulating. I mean, the quality insulates similar way that if it's rainy day and it's really raining a lot or a lot of snow, like the Wi-Fi doesn't just connect, it just doesn't come through. Something very similar happened with the more refined communication within the energetic network when it is in more pure state, when there is not this external substance in place. I mean, you can build this qi within your body, cultivate it, fill your body with this qi substance. And it takes long time to build and grow, but you can also get rid of that. And it really takes long time to get rid of that too. Like, it really is not easy process. But it does insulate that more refined understanding of the energetics, and also within the soul level, and especially, the heart communication. The more this qi is in body, it really starts to distort the quality of the heart and the communication and the enjoyment of the, normal and healthy connection and communication between your heart and people's heart, or nature, but also with the God. My humble apologies. I am a God's person these days. This is just a process I need to do. So my humble apologies for those that are pure Daoist practitioners. If the teachings or words and concepts doesn't quite come purely. So I think I have kind of covered most. Narcissism is that problematic personality style. And steroids just enhances that up to the peak, and especially when the person starts to get all sort of skills and siddhis, and with that personality style, which is extremely manipulative, extremely dominating. I mean, they are in nature like they love to be in control, and they are in control of that substance within you. Not in perfect control, I mean, you have control over that too. But those who have been in these courses and classes and have seen what the teacher is transmitting people to do, I mean, they are kind of the transmission is almost like they are mastering that qi substance within you. And in that school, people are not really aware of what mastering your own qi means, how it really happens. So in that school, it really seems to be like that the teacher is mastering the qi that they are transmitting into you. And most students, even after 10, 12, 15 years, are not aware what mastering your own qi means. So we really need to talk about all of these way more in depth. But I hope that you understand that this name encapsulates, in my mind, the best way what this podcast will be all about. And of course, there is also that appreciation towards to the Daoist path I walked, giving praises to the human aspect, even when the subject of this podcast at time to times will be quite serious, extremely serious even, and quite difficult. And I hope people will understand now better and get the humor and understand and can take their cultivation within the humor in correct direction, so that it will become virtuous, manifesting the other virtues you have built within your path. Thank you for your time.